So whether you're RVing on the weekend, or maybe you're RVing full time, or maybe you're just dreaming of RVing, there are some things you need. And today, we're gonna share some of our gadgets and accessories we enjoy using on the road. What's up, fellow journeyers? So if you're wanting to RV, what do you need to hit the road? My take is, you really only need about 3 things as a general answer for this.
You need an electrical cable, you need a sewer hose, and you need a water hose.
Boom, that's it. Like, you don't need 20, 30, 40 accessories. You don't need to fret or worry about anything that's basically stocked at a Walmart that you could possibly pick up along the way or go get. It's a big part of what our channel's about. You just let go of those fears, those concerns, those worries, and then get going on your next adventure. You know, there's 3 like must-have things, and there's the next level of nice-to-have things to hit the road. Things like,
you know, a surge protector, rubber wheel chocks, water pressure regulators, a brass splitter of some sort, 30 to 50 amp bone adapter, 30 amp to 15 amp bone adapter, 15 amp to 30 amp adapter,
an air compressor, tire pressure monitoring system, RV GPS. Honestly, there's already several great videos out there that we'll link to in the description below, talking about some of these RV accessories. And what you're looking for, to me, like, you're looking for that overlap where you see, if you watch say 3, 4, 5 of these videos, and that you start seeing the same thing coming up over and over again, that's when maybe you put that as a higher priority, as something you might need to buy. But we wanted to highlight some things that maybe, or at least to me, either you have not seen much of as far as an RV accessory, or maybe you've never seen it before. And I almost guarantee the last thing we're gonna show that we think is great for the road to have, 99% plus of you have not used or probably have not seen. Now, our first accessory, I'm actually sitting on it,
is our DeWalt watertight toolbox. The big main thing, of course, is that it's water sealed and it's watertight. I've never had any water get in here. Even if I forget to latch these latches, like, water just does not get in there.
And almost more so than that, like, it could be a seat, it could be a step stool, and I needed something or wanted something that I could just leave in the truck all the time and not worry about things inside of this getting just drenched. So what I store inside this are things that I need to access quickly, but at the same time, like, you know, again, it's in the back of the truck, so I don't keep things that are like insanely expensive in here, but things that are accessed quickly and on a regular basis, which our second item on the list is actually in here. Obviously, you know they make zip ties, but did you know that they make such a thing as reusable zip ties? Doesn't seem like a big deal, but it changes the way you do a lot of stuff, because I'll use these for large cords, small cords. I prefer buying the long one because I can just cut off whatever I don't need. But just, it changes the way you think about things, because you can just take it off and reuse it. And these hold like 50 pounds. And so an example of something you can use like the reusable zip ties for is for like the sewer hose holder I've got. If you've ever had to store a sewer hose in a trash bag or in a bucket or in a box, it's just terrible. It's just all, or just throw it in the back. I don't know. There's all kinds of different ways I've seen people store them. This is by far the best way to do it. Now, some RVs come with this built in. Our Airstream had one built in. Finding Our Some Days travel trailer has one built in, but this did not have one built in. So you can mount this underneath the RV as well. I put it on the back thinking I would just try it out, see if I liked it on the bumper. It's actually been fine on the bumper, so we're just leaving it on the bumper for now. I might move it underneath, but it's worked. It's rode like this for a year. But you can fit, like, I don't know, at least 30 feet of sewer hose in here, like maybe even 40. So like, you lock it down. I've never had it come open going down the road. I've never had this fall off. It's been great.
So this next item is something that we have tried many different versions of, and we finally found one that has worked really great for us. Having a really good outdoor mat just to help catch all that dirt, mud, rocks, because when you live in such a small space like an RV, it tends to get everywhere. Even though we do say, hey, take your shoes off to our kids, somehow things get all in that RV.
And even Amy catches in.
Oh yeah, you were waiting to bring Amy in here, weren't you?
Yeah.
Who's Amy?
She's using her bucket as a hat sometimes. But she also needs to wipe her feet on the mat before she goes inside.
Yes, Amy.
Because she always goes in the mud, the rocks.
That's true. Amy, wipe your feet before you come in. We actually love this mat so much, we have 2 of them. We have one by the door and one before you even get to that mat. So we really love this mat. It catches everything.
Now, if you've ever spent a lot of time hauling around your 50 amp cable, that thing is not light. So one solution, I actually learned this from Corey with Finding Our Someday. So instead of having the 50 amp cable hooked into your RV, you buy one of these 50 amp to 15 amp adapters. And so if you're ever in a situation where, let's say you're just at somebody's house, or maybe you're at a campsite that only has 15 amp for some reason, or if you like hook up a generator, you don't have to lug out the massive 50 amp cord. You plug this in, you go get your heavy duty extension cord, and you're good to go.
Another item that is super handy that you don't quite think about very often is just these little outdoor hooks. They kind of suction cup to the side of your RV. They're really great to hang wet towels, bathing suits, wet rain jackets. These things have been really great place just to keep everything hung outside, out of the way, and very inexpensive and handy for sure.
If you're looking for a cooler that you can use on the road, this has been pretty good. If you want the good or the bad, I'll probably start with the bad. But what I don't like is that it's like a gaping hole. So if you put anything besides drinks, if you got a variety of things, you're like digging in there trying to find what you need, and maybe it's getting smushed if it's sandwiches or something like that. So if you just got drinks, 100% hands down, this thing is awesome. Other than that one flaw, that's pretty much it. I love everything else. As far as like insulation, like they've done these against Yetis, and they're right there on par. So the way it works, when you're done with it, you just roll it up. You hear that? Because the outside layer that creates that barrier that keeps everything cold inside is actually air. So when you're about to use it, you put 3 good huffs into it, you seal this up, and then you've got like a layer of air around the entire edge. And then it just throw it on your back. Actually, well, before you do that, because you don't want your stuff like falling out and all that, you roll this up and you clip it like this right here. So, and then it's airtight. You throw it on your back. Like it compresses crazy small for a small space like an RV, which is awesome.
You ready to do this thing? Corey,
It's gonna be ready.
Corey's joked, because they've been here a little while, that they've never even seen my truck, so. And he constantly rubs it in. He's got a GMC and whatever, Corey. Oh, this is not technically a gadget or gear. This is a giant gadget, we'll call it that. We were finally picking up the truck. It's just had a lot of work done to it. Now I already know the answer to this, but you want to let everybody know why you don't want to take your truck?
Because I don't want you to feel bad when we pull in the parking lot.
No, I know the answer. There's a decent chance of rain, and Corey doesn't like his truck to get dirty, so.
that's great. It was actually slightly low probably before, so this is great. Yeah, I'm happy.
So what exactly happened with the truck? Short version, we bought it from a dealer who knew we were towing a 5th wheel full time with it, and basically, and I think they knew this, okay, I know they knew this truck was meant to have air suspension work with the leaf springs that are on the truck, but the airbags have been removed, which I was not told. And we did not find out until we're in New York and found out the leaf springs did not hold the right amount of weight. So as a temporary fix,
While in New York, almost a year ago, we had these Timberlands put in, which you can see the gap now. They're not doing anything now. That was not high, that high before.
and it doesn't matter because now we're not using the Timberlands because we've upgraded the leaf springs to where they need to be. We added over 3,000 pounds of cargo capacity
By adding 2 more leaves to our leaf springs on each side.
This thing is now ready to haul. It shouldn't need the assistance of airbags, Timberlands, anything. But it has been a process getting this stuff done because you can't just do a typical add a leaf kit to this. You can't just go even buy a leaf spring kit for a 1 ton. If you go and look at that stuff for Dodge, you'll notice it says in small print on almost everything, it says does not work with air suspension frame. There's just something different about this frame. So everything we had to get done was custom work from a leaf spring specialist. We haven't hooked it up yet, but based on what I see, so far so good. I shouldn't say that, that's probably bad luck. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna tow great. What could go wrong, right?
Bugs are definitely one of those things when you're RVing where you're just outside so much, and we feel like we've been to so many places we just get a lot of bug bites. This has actually worked really well. It smells really good and it goes on really nice, and it actually really keeps the bugs away, and I don't care, you know, to rub it on our skin or our kids' skin. So it doesn't have any DEET or anything like that in it. So it's probably not gonna be as effective as something like that, but we've actually, for what this is, it's been really handy to keep around.
Something else we've been using for RVing that's been really awesome is magnets. No, not that kind of magnets, even though these are kind of cool. What we've done is we've put on the, like pretty much on the back of all of our phones, my phone, Marissa's phone, even the back of my iPad mini, we put like metal on the back of everything. Yeah, even my GoPro. This is actually the magnet. I've got the metal on the truck. Let me just show you. This is cool. So when we're driving, we can magnetize here. I don't know, we could even film or something like that if we really want to. We can also magnetize here, and then you'll see this metal clip up here at the top for the GoPro. There's something really therapeutic about that noise of a magnet. I don't know. So we can reverse that GoPro, we can show a shot in the cab, we can show a shot up front, but I can also do this. Put it up here, put it down below in the hitch. You know, I don't put it outside the truck going over 50 miles an hour or something crazy bumpy. Use your own discretion, but this magnet's pretty strong. Oh yeah, and inside the RV, more magnets. We got a couple of these bars right here. I can put my iPad mini here if I'm sitting here using it and want to get it out of the way. I can just slap it up there. So we can just stick our remote up here too if we want to. My electronics cabinet to get stuff off the bottom. Magnet, 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 magnet. Yeah, that's a lot of magnets. Have you ever heard the word magnet used so many times in like 30 seconds? Now, a lot of these items are things maybe you discover over time, or maybe you just had somebody mention, or maybe you like read Amazon reviews. This next item is something that actually like saved our behind. And I'm gonna say that not many RVers have this item with them is my guess. This item, it's a shovel. So I can personally attest to us being stuck in Canada with our Airstream. Corey from Finding Our Someday whipped this thing out. We would not have been able to dug our way out of that situation without this.
Just barely caught this loose dirt, and then that was all she wrote.
Probably never gonna caravan with us again.
For the amount of space this takes up, it's so small and it's so versatile and awesome to have as an RVer. Let's talk power tools. And these three specifically are probably like I think three of the best that I've seen that would be applicable for RVers. So I've gone with the DeWalt 20 volt XR series, so everything uses those same batteries. So I've got two batteries. I got a 4 amp hour and a 5 amp hour, and I just swap those out. This thing, oh my goodness, if you need to do work in an RV, the amount of power you get for a drill that's this tiny, crazy. Because having a full-size, gigantic drill in some of the small spaces I've had to do some work in the RV, this has come in handy. I also got the Sawzall, and you can tell this thing has been worked. Maybe more so if you have a home base or something like that. I'm cutting small pieces of firewood, or if you're like pulling your RV through, you know, maybe even a campground or something, you want to check with the host or something first. But sometimes if there's a low-hanging limb in the way, you just, hey, you know what, can I just trim that off? Or if you're trying to back into your site, don't go crazy with this, cutting down all kinds of stuff around the campground without checking with somebody. But there have been some uses for this that have come in handy with the Sawzall. And then last but not least, shop vac. Isn't that crazy? Look how small that thing is. Same battery, just pops in right here. It's got a decent amount of power for the size, especially with kids. You probably need this, or dogs, or pets, or whatever. You know, this is awesome for touching up tiny spots of carpet, or like furniture, or if you want to detail a vehicle. I mean, get in those nooks and crannies and corners, and you get adapters and all that kind of stuff for it. This comes off if you want to, and you can, you know, attach different stuff to it if you need to. A couple of digital apps that make a huge difference that we feel like we really haven't highlighted or talked about too much on our channel, or maybe you haven't ever seen these before. First one's called Dark Sky. I think it's something like $3.99 on the App Store for iOS. I'm not sure about Android. If this isn't on Android, there's probably an app similar to this. But what I love about this is obviously weather apps are great if you're RVing, because you want to be in tune with weather. Dangerous weather coming in, windy day of driving, hail possibly coming with your, you know, with your awning out, all kinds of reasons to be in tune with the weather. But Dark Sky specifically, you know, I like the interface, I like the way it reads out stuff, but I think probably the biggest thing for me, and it has the radar and all the typical stuff with you know, weather and things like that, but the biggest thing to me is the automatic notifications you can set up. So you can set up to let it know if it's gonna, you know, rain in the next hour. You can do a daily summary. You can do government alerts as far as like severe weather and stuff like that. Umbrella reminder if it's gonna be a certain percentage of rain for that day. Sunscreen reminder, wind. Probably the biggest ones for me, honestly, like I have the next hour precipitation warning, so I know if it's about to rain, if I need to be getting things out of the rain, because, you know, we're outside a lot. So if I have things sitting out, I need to start gathering those up if it's gonna rain within the next hour. The wind is probably the other big one. Like if it's gonna start getting super windy and I need to put my awning in, again, don't rely on that, but it does help to have that as an alert. Or if I'm driving that day and it can give me an alert of what the wind's gonna be like that day. So I keep a pretty good pulse on those two things. And the other thing is cool, if you have a watch, it'll send those alerts to the Apple Watch And so it'll like, I'll get a little buzz or whatever, and it'll say, oh, you know, rain's coming within an hour. And I'm like, oh, I better, you know, everything's sitting out. Let's get the camping chairs in and everything else in. And our last gadget, now this is another digital gadget, and this is the one I'm betting 99% plus of you have not heard of or used because it has not existed until now. So for the last 2 years, been working behind the scenes, and I think I maybe mentioned it a couple of times. We've had patrons in our community testing this for like a year. Thank you so much for patrons. You've done an awesome job. So when we first started RVing, one of our biggest needs, and something maybe we didn't even realize at the time, was that we were lonely. I think we hit the road thinking we're gonna see some awesome stuff, we're gonna make some memories as a family, and we're gonna be all good. Not that it's hard to find people on the road, but sometimes it's hard to find people with the same interests and the same activities. And this is basically the app we wish we'd had when we started RVing. This app is not just for full-timers. This could be part-timers, this could be for dreamers, it could be for anybody. It's gonna help you more if you're on the road moving around, but it could be for anybody.
And for us, we were even meeting friends on the road, and we would catch ourselves saying, well, I hope we cross paths at some point again. And I'm like, okay, now we're in 2020, and we're like, surely we can have an easier way to keep up with our friends than saying, you know, I hope we run into each other somewhere in the world at some point.
So we developed an app, and we tried to find the sweet spot between automation in the background of it keeping track of where you're at and letting your friends know where you are, but at the same time randomizing those locations enough that you could possibly meet new people along the way on the road as you use the app. And that took some time and testing, and that's why we're so thankful to patrons, because you want your privacy, but at the same time you want to meet some people. And so there's like a sweet spot in between those two somewhere where you have to, you have to let the automation do its thing a little bit, but at the same time know that somebody's gonna have a really difficult, if not impossible, time finding directly where you're at with this app.
Well, essentially what it's doing is letting people know you're in the area, but not giving an exact location so they can come knock on your door.
Yeah, that's the idea, because you don't have to know somebody's exact location to meet up. You just need to know you're maybe like 15, 30, 40 minutes apart, and then you can meet up in the middle or something like that. So on Nomad Near Me, you've got different tabs at the bottom. This is the main tab that's showing you like everybody, again, quote, where they're at. These cities you're seeing, these aren't even the actual cities everybody's in. It's still randomized, but you can get an idea if somebody's within 50 miles, somebody's within 100 miles, if somebody's, 100 to 200, whatever miles away, you can get an idea. And then once you start to meet people and get to know people, you can kind of take it to the next step, which is the Friends tab. Now that is a map view, and that starts to show you where people are at. You can zoom in, zoom out, see, still not quite exact location. It's randomized, but it's not randomized as much, because at that point you become friends and you've shared your location. And the Friends view is awesome, because if you're like planning a route or wanting to go somewhere, you can look on the map, see where your friends are at, and you might deviate your route a little bit. I know we would.
Absolutely.
Based on where your friends are at, because it can totally change the way an experience works by using that. In any of these views, the All Nomad or the map view, you can filter based on interest. If you're a couple and you like to boondock, you can put that in the filter. If you're a couple and you like to hike, you can put that in the filter, and it's going to filter out people in the area. There's lots of other features. I'm not going to go through every feature of the app. Bottom line, this is free. Like letsjunkmorejourney.com/nomad-near-me will take you to the app store. You can download the app. Now, the caveat, is that French? Did we discuss that, if that word's French or not?
I don't know that word.
Okay, I don't either. The caveat, I'll just say it, hopefully it's right, is we only have this for iOS so far. We're waiting to see how this does on iOS. So we have started Android development, but before we put an insane amount of time and money and energy into that, because this is a lot to do this kind of stuff, we really want to see how this goes, where this goes, and as well, we do have a pro feature on here, but honestly, like, you're getting 95+% of the features for free on here. The pro features, like, if you just want to help us get to that Android version a little bit faster, we really appreciate any support. You can click the buttons on here to go to the pro version and help us get there a little bit faster with that.
It's just so great getting to share your journey with other people. And so we hope you guys really enjoy this and find the need like we have. We think this is just gonna completely change the way we RV.
We're leaving our home base for our next route here in a few days.
Yay! We're so excited.
Like, oh my goodness. But as we leave, I'm super excited about this app and who we can see along the way and who we can meet and what we can do. So if you want to download this app on the iOS store, it works on iPhones and iPads. When you get in there, you won't see any friends in your friend map unless you've used this before. Look up Let's Junk More Journey and friend us, and you'll be able to see where we're at, how we bounce around, where we go, whether or not we're coming near an area. You'll be able to see all that. Now, the friend map is not designed just to friend lots of people you haven't met before. It's more or less designed for once you get to know somebody in person, then you friend them. But we're gonna give you guys the exception for us. Just go ahead and friend us, and you can see it and check it out. It should be pretty cool. I'm excited about the route. I'm excited what this should do as a game changer, because even though there's hundreds or thousands of RVers around the area you're in sometimes, you just don't even know who they are, where they are, what they're doing, how to connect. And I really hope this changes the way people connect on the community. I guess an asterisk too for all this, we totally get it and respect and encourage you to go by CDC guidelines with everything going on right now. We are not saying you can still meet people and sit around a fire. You can still go on a hike. There's lots of things you can still do and be social distancing while you do this. We had the choice of, this app has been done for 3 months. We had the choice of, do we keep waiting until things go back to normal? And we just don't know what normal will look like in the end. This could be the new normal for a while. Or do we release this app, especially in the summer when people could have the benefit of using it? And we say, you know what, we just need to release it and just tell people, use your own discretion like you already are with a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
So I hope all these things we discussed today, hopefully you haven't seen most of them. Definitely, maybe you haven't seen the last one, Nomad Near Me. Go check that out, lessjunkmorejourney.com/Nomad Near Me.
We're
pumped.
so excited.
We're excited about it.
Yes.
We're super excited about it. It's been a lot of work.
This has been like our dream for years now. So just having your dream and vision come to life and hopefully get to change people's lives in the way that they connect and meet people on the road is just, it makes us so happy. So I hope you guys really enjoyed as much as we have.
If you want links to any of the accessories we talked about today, you can see those as well in the description. Until next time, catch you guys later.
Yeah, hello. I'm here, hello.
Lost your mind.